Film this week about a film called Mostly Martha. I'm Denver Post movie critic Michael Booth.
And I'm Chris Browning-Blas, food editor here at the paper.
And we're going to be making something from the movie before we talk about the plot. What are we doing today?
You're talking about the movie, and then I'm going to talk about the lemon tart at the end.
Gotcha, okay. The movie, great German film. I just discovered it recently on a recommendation from Chris. And it's being remade this summer, actually, as No Reservations.
No Reservations with
Catherine Jones and Aaron Eckhart. Should be a really good cast. The plot is that and it's unusual in that you've got a very strong female character who is also sort of prickly, not always so likable, very much in charge, and a whole person, which is, as we know, rare to get a great female role like that. Yeah. And she's a chef at an amazing German restaurant, and very volatile.
Real high-end place, very much a perfectionist. And I like that scene where she goes in, doesn't she go into the walk-in freezer? And just kind of
goes in there a few times.
Literally goes in to chill out.
That is her refuge. Yeah. Well, and you see the sauces behind her. That's all. What's the word for what they're doing there? They're cooling, resting, finishing.
They're finishing.
They're finishing. The sauces are finishing. So anyway, the complicating factor is that her sister, who has a little girl, dies in a car crash.
Right.
It's at the beginning of the movie, and she takes over the girl.
Right. And she's not the motherly type at all.
She's not at all. She's the first one to admit it, and she's extremely busy at this restaurant.
Right.
And so it goes from there, and they develop a relationship, but not in a real Hollywood perfectionist, all happy ending kind of way. At least not right away. So there's a lot of different great food in this movie, just as in Big Night and some of the other movies we've done. What did you decide to focus on?
Well, I decided to focus on the lemon tart that her therapist serves her at the end. She's working with this therapist trying to figure out how to deal with this kid that she didn't plan to have, and kind of trying to loosen up a little bit, right? So at the very end, he makes this lemon tart for her, and she's relaxed enough to appreciate it, but still tells him... He
says, that look on your face, there's something wrong,
right? Right.
And what she says?
She says, you didn't use the Belgian sugar. I told you to use the Belgian sugar. And he says, you can taste that, right?
You can tell which kind of sugar I used. And she says, yes,
so, unlike the therapist, I did not make the tart. I thought I would talk about lemons. This tart calls for about, I think it's a ½ cup of lemon juice. Leave the lemons out, just like you would eggs or anything else, or butter that needs to come to room temperature. Before you juice them, you'll get a lot more juice out of them. Also, if they're a little bit cold, you can roll them like this, and that'll break apart some of the cells inside of the lemon so that you can get all of the good juice out. Look for Meyer lemons in the store. They still should be in the stores now. They have a much thinner skin, and they almost look like an orange, and the inside flesh is bright yellow, and you can really eat the whole lemon. You can even eat the skin because it's very thin and it's very oily. Delicious flavor, but they're seasonal, so you'll only find them in the early spring months.
And what are we doing with that?
The tart in the movie and the recipe that we'll have on our website is it uses almond paste, and it uses ground up almonds in the crust and in the filling. This is marzipan. And the difference between marzipan and almond paste is that marzipan is also made from almonds. It's what you see, you can make little, it's like Play-Doh. And so you can make little shapes out of it. The difference between marzipan and almond paste is marzipan is much finer and sweeter. You can substitute one for the other, just use less sugar if you're using marzipan as opposed to almond paste in your recipe.
Great. You can find the whole recipe, as we said, at denverpost.com/food. And more episodes of Food on Film at denverpost.com/food or /movies. Thanks for joining us for this week's Food on Film.